I'm actor Hicks Jeremy here at the Wolf Den. We'll be discussing struggles, strength, hope, courage, drug addiction, alcoholism, and how I left that and made it to the big screen. You don't want to miss this one.
I got hella problems. Don't need no shovel, handle dirt with choppers. You get your issues, try killing me. Eliminate all contenders, talk about ending me. Got Glocks and Drakes, some bullets sped out 'em. Yeah, the mortician can't get the lead.
Welcome back to the Den, and today we got Mr. Hicks Jeremy, local TV and movie artist. Welcome to the Den, Mr. Hicks.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Humbled and honored to be here.
Doing good today or what?
Oh, yeah, man. It's a really cool place.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, it's really deceiving, though. Like, honestly, we were laughing because when he walked in, he was like, "Am I in the right place?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, he thought he was just walking into a regular office.
Well,
yeah, I'm like,
you saw the cranes and all.
Well, I shot a text and I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I want to make sure I am. Old Slumberjee, like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And then I started like, I'm a big Kennedy conspiracist, and I'm like, man, Slumberjee. I'm like, man, they were like shipping, guns to the Slumberjee by the airport, the Cubans. Like I'm sitting in my car thing. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of the way. Like I'm in the middle of this parking lot thinking about this.
Sending people your last known location, all that.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you're parking in the front. And I'm like, okay. So I walked in and I took a step in and I'm like, and I took a step out and I'm like, just go through the front door. It was like this crazy, like, I don't know, little mini adventure.
No, it's definitely a little maze, especially whenever you start walking around and seeing everything and just different doors everywhere.
Very cool place.
Cool place. But besides us, let's get talking about you. You want to tell us kind of like how your story started off? Just kind of get into the acting and the filming game.
Yeah, man. It was kind of weird. Like as a kid, I always wanted to be an actor. Like I grew up in a pretty rough household, and television and film was kind of an escape, for me. And I grew up into a young adult and became like a drug addict and alcoholic for 24 some years. I was, drugging and drinking.
You was like starting off pretty young doing that?
Yeah. Funny story. Thank you for being here, because the first time I thought about this last night, and I actually called my aunt to tell her about it, because she's the one that took me to your grandparents and all about a parade over there. Mm-hmm. But your cousin and I, and a group of us, got a hold of some jungle juice. I think I was like in the 5th grade, and I had a cup of jungle juice. So that's kind of when I started. Like I was in the 5th grade when I had my first cup.
That's most people.
It's crazy how the universe works, because I think I was with his cousin, and so wild. But yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, very small world. And I got out of school and just ran the roads, like ripping and running. Had some run-ins with the law, picked up a felony, But in 2014, I was just a drunk. I was just a professional drunk, and I quit doing drugs in like 2011. And man, I was sitting down one day, probably the loneliest I'd ever been, because I had been homeless. I had been through it all, and a lot of war stories. With the streets and with just drug use. I'm not talking about like perpetual war stories.
Right.
And I woke up one day, man, I was just miserable, and I just kind of surrendered, and I went get help, and I got sober. I think the last day, my sober date is 12/15/14. So that day I took my last drink, and then I went into treatment. It was probably like, I can't even tell you how many treatment centers or detoxes I had been into.
Before, like prior?
Oh, prior, yeah, for many years.
Well, even with you saying that too, like I kind of want to throw this out there. Do you feel like a lot of these systems, because in my experience, I'm pretty much like one of the, this is actually a fact. I am the only male on my side of the family, on the Sanchez side of the family, who has never been to rehab. That's like actual of an age where they, you know what I mean?
Right,
like where they start doing drugs, whatever. Like everybody on my dad's side of the family has been to rehab. I'm the only one who has not. So what I tended to see was, in a lot of their situations, they only got worse whenever they came back, or it didn't help them almost. Like it's almost like, I don't know, and a lot of them say like it almost like it was like set up to fail, but I feel like if you going into it and if somebody's pushing you into it, it's really not gonna help you unless you want to help yourself.
Right, and that's what I'm piggyback on that, and like you have to want this shit, sobriety, more than anything else in your life. Like I had to want it more than my children, because without it, I couldn't be a father to my children. Right. So you have to want it more than you. You know, a lot of people say, man, alcoholics and drug addicts are just weak-willed people, and that's bullshit. Because man, I was like nearly homeless in Seattle, walking around in the freaking freezing cold in flip-flops to go like score heroin.
This dude was really hard.
You tell me if that takes a lot of will, and it does. You know, so we have that will in us. The drug addict and alcoholic has that will in them. They just need to focus it in the right direction. And for me, it was, you know, it was basically, I was, you know, sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, I just had completely surrendered. Like, you know, my way, obviously, for 24 years didn't work if it led me to being homeless and a junkie and an alcoholic. So, yeah, that day I just decided to probably say the most important words I ever said was, you know, I want help and really want it. And I went into treatment and I got out and I put in a lot of work into my sobriety, like a lot of work. You know, they say, oh, well, at that time I was going to like old school Alcoholics Anonymous, and with a lot of really, you know, ornery, old, grumpy alcoholics, you know, recovering alcoholics. And I learned a lot of wisdom from them old cats. And I eventually, you know, continued on my journey in sobriety, and they tell you, you know, go to, you know, I forgot what it was, 90 meetings in 90 days. Like, that's what they say. I was going to multiple meetings, you know, like it became another addiction for me. And then I was able to help a lot of other people, you know, in that. So 2014, I become sober. And now I'm learning how to live all over again. You know, it's like a baby, like learning to crawl. I have to learn how to feel. I had to learn how to love myself. That I was unaware of. You know, it's like, how do you love yourself? And that was something I had to learn. And fast forward to 2018, like 4 years of sobriety, and I'm doing this sobriety podcast. And this dude's like, hey, man, anything you had as a child dreamt of, any goals that you feel like drugs or alcohol might have taken from you? And I was like, yeah, I always wanted to be an actor. It's kind of weird how, like, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, puts people in your life. Because in that moment, I'm like, man, where did that come from? I haven't thought about that in years. And after the podcast, I didn't think about it at all. But the dude said something that changed everything. He said, well, you beat an addiction. Why can't you become an actor? I was like, shit. So it kind of stuck with me for a little while. And then I kind of forgot about it, you know. And then 2 weeks later, I get a call that just kind of changed everything. This chick that was cutting my hair at the time, they were doing some, like, independent B horror movie here in Houma. And she's like, we need a homeless guy. And I'm like, perfect. I look homeless.
I know how to play that part.
I'm being homeless. I'm like, I could do this. No lines.
Kind of experience.
It was background work, you know. And I had never even been on a film set, and here I am at 40 years old. Like,
I have a little experience.
a little. So I go and I do this thing, and I'm like, man, I love this. You know, the director was like, man, you take direction well, and you look good on camera. And so while I was on set, they hooked me up with my casting profile, right? Because I'm not a trained actor at this time. Like, I know nothing about the craft of acting.
Well, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, with you get into acting, was one of the reasons that you kind of never pursued acting? And this is just out of curiosity for myself. So, I'm from small town Pierreport, right? I know you're from Cutoff.
Yeah.
If somebody in Pierreport pursues like acting or whatever, oh, they gay. Like,
Really? Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Wait, is that the Is that the what?
If you don't have a if you don't have a 4-wheeler and a jacked up truck working in the plants, you ain't fitting it. You ain't a normie. You ain't normal. Like, so, like, I think there's a lot of very high potential people from even our area. I was just wondering if you get any of that
There's
kickback.
talent
Might just
all
be a
over.
movie town
I
thing.
was just wondering if you got any of that type of kickback, like, just, you know, like somebody being like, oh, you trying to go be in a movie? Like,
not-
you know what I mean? Like,
He's not trying to run a podcast. He's trying to act.
Not
you know?
that I know
you know what I'm
of.
talking about? I'm not talking about, not even podcasts. I'm talking about just in general, you know?
So
it's
not-
just that small town mentality.
Right. Yeah. Not that I know of. My town, you know, I'm originally from Galliano, but lived in Cutoff and went to school in Golden Meadow. And my town was really supportive. Now, you had a big group of people who were like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Right.
Like, so my nickname, everyone called me Skippy growing up. Because my father, my real name's Hick, the fourth. And you know, my father was Hick the third, but they called my dad Big Skip for some reason, and they always called me Skippy. Tiffany, your cousin, called me Skippy Fish. She still calls me Skippy. I see her at Walmart, she calls me Skippy. And they were like, man, Skippy's fucking lost it. Like, you know, this is the dude who was fucking thieving and running the roads and doing dope. And, you know, like, because let me tell you something, bro. When you get sober, ain't nobody want to hear what you got to say. Mm-hmm. They don't give a shit what you got to say.
Wait, once you get so what?
Once you get sober, nobody wants to hear what you got to say, bro. Like, you can make all the promises you want and say what you want, but they don't give a shit. Like, they've been burned by you so many times. So, like, it took those years for me, like, to have that walk. They wanted to see my walk. And I kept my mouth shut, and I listened, and I learned, and you know, they watched my walk. So at that point, 4 years later, they're like, God damn, this is the longest we ever seen him sober, you know, since he was probably in like middle school or junior high. You know, like he's doing something right. So I got a lot of support, but I do know that mentality.
Right.
You know, I've dealt with that mentality in different situations, and it's real and it's there. And you're right, there are a lot of talented people here in the Tri-Parish area that I feel like don't have the confidence or worry about what too many other people would have to say. I mean, you know, as an actor, like, you can't give a fuck about what anybody says. If you start caring about what other people, I am judged weekly by casting directors. I audition very steadily. And, like, you got to walk away from that. So you really can't, especially in the industry that him and I is in, like, you have to
It's the business of rejection.
It is.
Well,
it's the
yeah,
business,
yeah.
and you have to have some thick skin,
Well,
and you cannot take it personally.
Even for this, though, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you now, you on the Wolf Den podcast right now. If you think some of these things that you say, if somebody don't agree with it, oh, they're coming at our necks.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even reply to them, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, all right, you have your opinion. This is what this guy's opinion is. So at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion just like everybody has an asshole, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like, what you got to do with it,
I always
right?
say that life is like a big sidewalk. You know, it's almost like Facebook, but it's a sidewalk, and every now and then you're going to cross a pile of shit on it. Mm-hmm. So, like, you could step in it or go around it, you know? And I have people who say what they say, and that's their opinion, you know? I definitely don't lose sleep, you know, over it at all. I know who the fuck I am. I know how hard I worked to get to where I am.
Correct.
I know what it took to get here, you know? And I wish the best for anyone trying. You know, love yourself, have confidence, and keep pushing. Like, something's gonna happen. You know?
All I'm gonna say is this: if we would listen to the comments and all, we would have been quit this. Me and Austin is some fat, lazy pieces of shit that don't know how to run no businesses and don't know what
You
they talking
can't
about.
take my comments personally, man.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, that would be, oh my God, dude, just a comment. We laugh at them. Like, and they got these people that's posting stuff on it, and we go look at their profile, and then it's like, you're the one that's voicing your opinion? Like, who the fuck
Yeah,
are
in
you?
their profile, they got a fucking COVID mask on.
Yeah, COVID.
Like they're about to catch COVID through the fucking
or
internet.
like some type of fisherman that thinks because we had another real fisherman who's actually making real money, so they go put their input in, and it's just like, bro, what are you even talking about right now?
You gotta ignore that shit. You like, you know, and I'm glad y'all do, because you have to just, you know, trust the process of what you're doing and believe in what you're doing and keep pushing forward in what you're doing. And, you know, the people that are supposed to be in your life are going to stay in your life. And the people that are not supposed to be or not support you are going to, you know, they'll easily be dismissed in an organic way. And it's just going to happen naturally, you know.
Well, I seen something like that the other day. It basically said, you know, people in your life, they kind of organically phase themselves out as you start to kind of grow. Or if they're not growing with you, you know, they're staying behind.
And I always say that, you know. Grow with me or get the fuck out of the way.
Correct.
And you have to have that attitude. I'm one of the nicest guys in the world. I'm really humbled about what happened to me in my life, you know, but I continue to still have to have courage to do what I believe in, right? You know, like, oh, he's such a nice guy. And that is true. That is true. I practice compassion and kindness, you know, but when it comes to protecting what I built, like, all that hippie shit goes out the window.
Correct.
You know, yeah, I'm a deadhead, bro. I love the Grateful Dead. You know, I am a big hippie.
You still got some of that down the bayou in there.
Yeah, but after that, like, you fuck with what I love. You fuck with what I'm passionate about. You know, I will set up a boundary, you know, not for you, but for me. Right. And that boundary is going to be firm, and it's not going to be crossed. Yeah. You know, and we have to do that, I think, in all aspects of our life.
Oh, absolutely. You can't. I think a lot of people perceive me and I come off as a dick just because I'm not the best at. I'm a very straightforward guy. I'm not about to walk on no tippy toes or anything like that. So I know people think, oh, I do Nick Sanchez. If you know him, like if you really know me, I'm a kind-hearted guy and I'm willing to do whatever it needs to take to help you out. But if you see me just from an outside perspective, I mean, fuck, they'll tell you. I walk around here.
No, you're a nice guy, bro.
Well,
people think I'm an asshole.
I mean, I've watched y'all, and my first impression of you was wonderful. I mean, like,
no, you ain't gotta lie now.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, like, here I am, like at this Comic-Con, celebrity guest, and I see you, and fuck, I recognize you.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
And I'm like,
I called Austin after. I was like, hey, dude, you never believe this. And I was like, they had this guy, and I was like, I thought I had like seen you before on social medias, but I wasn't confident until you had say your name. Then I was like, okay, actually, I think I do know this guy. And so I kind of went look after the Comic-Con, and I saw like, you did some things with Casey, you did some things with it was Casey or Grant.
Grant, Casey.
Oh, you did with both of them?
Yeah,
okay.
both of them.
So yeah, I saw a couple
I do them
things.
all over, but like when anytime I'm gonna jump on something local, man, because this is where my heart is. My heart is here. But when I saw him and I recognized the face, but I couldn't. It was killing me. And then I saw you and I recognized you, but like I felt like I knew you more for some reason. Like it was super weird. So I went to Caleb and I'm like, hey, Caleb, I'm like, you know that cat? And he's like, yeah. And then he told me how he knew you. And then I was like, man, that's that. And then I put it together, and then I was like, man, I got to talk to that guy. Like, I got to talk to these guys, because I love what y'all doing. Yeah, it's real. It's organic. We're
trying to build this area up, like, because that's what I'm saying. Like over here in South Louisiana, it's a taboo. It is. It's like people, they don't get in. Like we really are doing different shit over here. Like from the podcast to the other things that we got going on, just people are not really doing those type of things. They're doing them in California and Atlanta, Georgia, and everywhere else, but they're not doing them here. And so we're trying to build up.
Well, I think what it is, people are scared to fail, like you said, and they're scared to take that chance and that risk. But
scared money.
I mean, look, if you don't make moves, you never go gain traction.
Scared money don't make money.
But it's good that I mean, you bringing something innovative here. You're bringing. I think it's great. Like I didn't hesitate when I got that text. I was like, oh, this is gonna work. I was like, I can actually, because I want to be able to get in here until like May. So like I'm telling you, bro, the universe lined this up today.
Oh no, yeah, no, because like we probably wouldn't have been able to get you, and we pretty much booked out until May. But I think somebody had like a schedule mishap, so then that's why we were like, all right, let's see what we can get. I was like, wait, if I just met this cool dude Hick just past weekend, I was like, call him right now, like let's get him on, and then that's how we ended up.
Truly grateful, man. Truly grateful.
Oh, I did have a question. So you talked about your struggles and homeless in Seattle and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that drove you to pursue acting and you knew you could try for it, but I want to hear about how that affected your acting technique. Do you think those kinds of experiences helped build you as an actor, that you can get that intensity or, things like that? Do you think that's affected you?
Absolutely.
Like just being in that mindset, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, most of the time I play a bad guy, but and it depends on, I played all kinds of different characters, but absolutely, man, like, once you heal from trauma, I figured out that you never forget how it made you feel. Like, you might even remember the whole thing that was so traumatic, but you remember how it made you feel. And once you heal from it, I find in a healthy manner that is always there. So, like, what I learned was that I was able to pull
that was about to be
shit from that.
That's what was about to be my next question from you.
Yes, definitely. I was able to pull shit from that, but you got to make sure you can heal from it and you could put it kind of back where it goes, and it doesn't really trigger you to go down some kind of spiral or some shit.
That's what else I was gonna ask you. If you do that, do you ever get the urge, like, because like if you put yourself in that bad role, I'm gonna use a very popular example, the Batman Joker movie, Heath Ledger, where he trapped himself in the hotel room. He was shooting up heroin, doing whatever drugs he was doing, and literally making himself go crazy to be able to play that Joker part.
I thought you were going to go the Shia LaBeouf route.
Or even that route too, right? Whatever he got going on right now.
I've been praying for that boy.
Yeah, stuff that's going on right there. But like, that's what I was basically saying. Like, do you kind of have to check yourself and be self-aware? Like, hey, I might be getting too deep into this. Let me pull back a little bit, and so that I don't go and abuse some type of thing whenever you're trying to put your head. Because I know whenever like you're acting, you are trying to be that character so that you can be the best that you can be, right?
Right. Lucky for me is the two examples you did give. They weren't sober, and they probably weren't really spiritually fit
for that
at that time. So lucky for me, I am, and I have the right tools and being spiritually fit that I know that I'm doing a job, right? And yes, I do take myself there, but it would never be something to harm myself in any way because I love myself. And why would I want to damage the commodity of Hicks Jeremy? You know?
Well, I'm glad you said that, though, because even with you being where you're at now, that shows a big difference from whenever you were. You probably couldn't say 20 years ago, I love myself.
No, I thought I missed the class in school where they taught it, bro. Like, I thought I was outside in the parking lot, like,
smoking a little doobie or something.
Listening to Alice in Chains, like, smoking weed. You know, like, they must have covered this day because, like, I really couldn't grasp that, like, at all.
They did that lesson in how to buy a house on the same day.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, you know, it's like, you know, I've been pretty lucky to be able to reach certain things in roles that, you know, especially really heavy shit, you know, and I've been able to reach those points. And in the beginning, I won't lie, I don't know if this ever happened with you, but like in the beginning, if I was to go and shoot something for so many days and come back home in the beginning, there was a lot of stuff left with me. There was just a lot of frustration. It depended on what the character was and who he was and what he was doing and what he wanted and, you know, what the other person wanted maybe in the scene. And that went away after a little while. I was able to kind of thank you. I was able to kind of, now when I get out of a role, I can just come back to being me.
Right.
You know.
You know, it makes sense because, and you two might not be familiar with this, but when you're acting, the best way to be good at playing a role is to get yourself into the mindset of that character, to know what they were feeling. So you're not pretending to talk like they would talk or to feel how they would feel. You're sitting there thinking, okay, if I'm this guy in this situation, how am I feeling delivering these lines? So if you're playing a darker character who's more serious, it's not going to be believable if you're just like, oh, I'm going to pretend to be a dark, badass guy. You have to sit there and be like, what is this guy thinking? Why is he like this? And you got to get yourself in that mentality. Well, otherwise, it's totally visible on camera.
I'll tell you where the first time I really experienced that and saw it. So I'm not gonna sit here and call myself an actor. I'm not an actor. I don't do those type of things. In fact, I'll be in like videos or do things with friends with skits or whatever. But like, I'm not about to sit here and call myself an actor or anything. Well, I let Duncan sit in for me because one of our boys, Brody, that comes on the podcast sometimes, you know, Brody Shreds, followers, does the fitness influence stuff. He came in here and we was doing a video skit for him, and I looked at him and I was just like, Brody, that wasn't, like, this take was not it. Like, this, like, what are you doing? Like, this is not you. And then he was like, yeah, you're right. And then, like, he just turned around. He, like, closed his eyes and did, like, and then he turned around and he was a totally fucking different person. Like, I'm talking about, like, turned around and snap. You saw it.
He was playing a role, kind of a spoof of J.K. Simmons in Whiplash.
Okay,
you know, he was playing that.
So
he
like,
turned around. He turned back around, veins popping,
eyes big.
He was right into it.
Boom! This is what we're doing. Let's go! Like, and I'm talking about like it was a complete change, and I was just like, yes, that is you. That's what we need. And like, he knew how to get himself there, and it's just crazy to watch that in real life because it's like I'm talking to him like, yeah, what up, brother? Like, yeah, what's going on? What you doing? You know, dibble-dabbing, talking about whatever, yip-yapping, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's just like, I was like, kind of caught me by surprise.
And you have to, and, you know, he's been on bigger sets, like, you have to, because, like, at any time, and one of the big things, like, these casting agents want from us is that, these casting directors want from us, is that they want us to be able to change things up really quick, and everything from pacing to, I mean, well, it could be a million things, you know. I went to audition the other day live, and it was just change, redirect. But it's getting yourself there, and you can ask them the amount of research. Like with most people, and y'all may not, I know he does, but like if I get like a 3-page audition, we go through a script analysis, right? We go ahead, we analyze that script before we even look at ourselves as the character. What's going on? Where am I? What year it is? What the room smells like? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Is my neck itching?
Oh, y'all.
Do I have like dirty underwear on?
Y'all pump fumes into the rooms and all too? I'm wondering, do y'all?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. Like,
And with all that, you have to commit too.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to going to that audition, you pick a direction you're going with it. Now, they might ask you to change it right there, but you got to land on something. If you're just not reading the page, but you just have it memorized and you're just spouting out the lines, you can sound like everybody else.
But then
everybody's going to pick a way to go for it.
Let's give an example from like what you told us, kind of was talking about with us the other day, with the Cajun accent and how you have to do Cajun accent lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, so in the beginning of my acting career, like the Cajun accent was like frowned upon. Like, you need to lose that. You need to lose that. And, you know, I obviously still have it. But, you know, after years of auditioning and booking and doing different TV shows, movies, independent films, whatever I was doing, you start to really curve your dialect, right? And now we're seeing productions. I'm seeing a shift because usually when these big productions come to Louisiana, they want more of like a, you know, a southern drawl. You know, they want to sit on the sofa top with a little twang in it. And, you know, that was the big thing, you know? Yeah, New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans. You know, like they want different.
New Orleans.
They want some New Orleans. You know, down New Orleans, French call. You know, real short. But what you're seeing now is they want a real fucking Cajun accent, which makes my heart so happy because I don't want our culture to ever fucking be buried, right? I'm not one that goes out there and makes fun of our fucking culture. I take my culture very seriously, you know, so you'll never see me making fun of Cajun culture, you know. And
so when you saying that though, a lot of people,
it's over exaggerated.
Yeah,
I feel
it is.
Well, it
too
is.
much.
A lot of people they look down on us because we talk this certain way, and like, look, don't get me wrong. I could talk. I'm going in the boat with my daddy this weekend. Like I kind of tell you, you know, I can have a strong Cajun accent. But look, dude,
that's daddy with 2 A's, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, they got such smart people down here. Me and Austin called a guy the other day. He's actually the owner of a very popular exhaust system. They have a factory down here in Louisiana, and then they also have a factory in Germany. From the last that I know about, and he produces these mufflers, so he knows all about like just different things in sound suppression and all. Well, we're talking to this guy, and dude, yeah, we can have a beer in the backyard. Y'all come and talk, and we gonna figure it out, you know. And this is like literally one of the smartest guys I probably ever met. And it's just like, man, how are y'all just gonna let an accent, because this is how we grew up, and this is the dialect that we were kind of taught and being around, and coordinate that with intelligence.
Exactly. And the Cajun culture and the Cajun people are some of the most intelligent people that I've lived all over, that I've ever known. They also have the strongest form of perseverance that I've ever seen.
Nobody's living in a swamp like us.
Nobody works like us. Nobody deals with what we deal with. You know, nobody. You know, so sometimes when I see it being cartoonish or overpronunciated and dumbed down, it fucking hurts my heart. You know, and they have these content creators out there who are making a killing doing it. You know, and good for them, man. They found their niche or whatever, this and that. But my main goal was to bring Cajun culture to the big screen properly, right? The correct accent, the correct culture. And it's kind of funny because I went into an audition, really big actresses coming down here and Oscar-winning actress and filming a movie, and I was blessed enough to get an audition for it. And I had to go in and do a live audition, which we don't get to do anymore a lot. And that's a big difference. I get to come in a room like this and perform my craft instead of doing it at home in front of a camera like this, you know. I get to do it in front of people. And I went and I slated. But I slated like I would normally slate, with no accent.
You explain what slate is for them.
Yeah, for the people that don't know what slate
so
means.
A slate is before any audition, we have to do this kind of like introduction of ourselves. So like usually it's like, Hicks Jeremy, 5'11", Thibodaux, Louisiana, you know, and Action Talent Agency or whatever agency you're with. And that's kind of a clip for the casting directors to just have their info on you, to the way they handle their files and send them off to producers and stuff. And I did a regular slate, not in my accent. So we cut the slate, and before I can start my scene, the cast, they're just like, hey, man, like, I know where you're from. Like, I need you Cajun. You know, so even in that moment, because I'd been so processed to try to, like, tone down my dialect so much, you know, I had to pretend like I was on the phone with my brother.
Right.
You know? I was like, yeah, hey, bro, you know, like the way I regular talk, like this, you know, like I grew up down there. So, you know, it's tricky, but I'm happy to see it being, you know, auditioned for. Now, the cool thing about that was, you know, in the beginning, I used to have to talk to different dialect coaches and different people if I got to do like a British Cockney accent, and so I had to learn from people. With these movies now coming and they wanting real Cajun accents, I got all these fucking other actors calling me, like, bro, it's hilarious. Like,
Doing from player to coach.
yeah, and like sending me their lines, you know, and I'm sending them like voice recordings, you know. So like, that's the kind of actor I am. Like, some of them were going for the same role I was, you know, but like I wanted to help, you know, and if they get it, they get it, and apparently I'm not fucking Cajun no more.
That's crazy.
If you lose to somebody that's not Cajun, you be.
It can happen, bro.
No, don't get
casting
me.
directors never know what the fuck they want, and producers half the time don't know what they want until they just see it and they like, you know what?
You fit perfect.
That's it. That's when you know.
It really can be the smallest thing that stops you from getting a
But
role.
who is the one that ultimate? Is it the producer or the
The
director?
producer makes the
Producer
final
chooses?
the
decision.
final decision.
But you have a casting director who
My
might go
man.
through.
So but like the producer is the top of it. Like if you produce something, that means that you like kind of had the vision, created a thing, and then lined up everything together. And then the director is the one that kind of puts everything together and does it for you.
Yeah, no, in a sense, but it also means that you have the money and that the director works for you.
Correct,
You know,
right.
like, I mean, that's just the reality of it. It's producers, directors, and you have like your crew and your actors. And
So if the director wants something, the producer says no.
It's a no.
Flat
It's a
out,
no.
it's a no. That's
it's
it.
a no. You know, that's just the
I mean, my
chain.
sister used to be a casting director, and there's different levels to it, right? Now they would get hundreds of people submitted for these roles, right? It gets to the point they narrow it down to just the people who can act. Well, now they've still got dozens and dozens. Okay, we decide we only want a blonde for this. They narrow it down. They've still got tens, if not dozens. At this point, all these people could do the role right. They can only send 3 or 4 to the producer. It would literally get so arbitrary. They'd go odd-numbered birthdays, just start tossing them because there's just that many people before they could send them that way.
So-
and then it gets to the director or producer, and the producer looks at it, and they got 3 people, and they go, well, this person was the best, but they look like my ex-wife.
That's
And
what
that's
that's so crazy because that reminds me of the
True
other day.
story, actually.
yeah, it's
I read-
the reality of it.
I read somebody that was they were an employee for they're like the HR person at a big company, or not a big company, like a medium sized company, and the CEO walks in, the boss, and she got that stack of papers right there ready to go through like which ones that they gonna potentially call for the interviews for the next step of the interviews. The boss goes, takes a stack, and start separating. Boom, 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 boom. It's about 50 resumes. Took a stack of 25, put it to the side. Took the other stack of 25, threw it in the garbage can. He says, "We not ready to work with anybody that's unlucky."
Damn.
I mean, it gets to that
Dude, I'm
point.
not even
That
joking.
especially-
Point. So,
but
like,
this
just-
is why you were saying earlier. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
no,
you off,
you're good, you're
but
good.
you were saying earlier you had a point when you were starting off about auditioning and you weren't getting roles for a while, and you started to doubt yourself and be like, "Man, am I even not good at this?" But I always say, because I know that about the casting aspect of it, that should never even be a thought to cross your mind, because you could be Morgan Freeman, right? A spectacular actor, and audition for years and not get anything because luck, or they just don't happen to have a role where they're looking for an older black man, you know, with a sultry voice,
Well, I mean,
right? They're looking for a teenager.
Think about
you
the
know,
Stranger
from
Things
this
kid.
area.
He's all freaking
You know?
out right now. The Stranger Things kid that has the problems like that, the medical problems with him. Which friend is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about on Stranger
No.
Things?
The one with the squinty eyes,
Yeah,
things like
no,
that.
yeah, and he has the
Oh,
curly
Stranger
hair.
Things.
Yeah.
Well, about just to give you a little backdrop on it, he's freaking out and struggling right now because like his character, they even use that as part of Stranger Things in the series. Like they said, like he has this genetic disease or whatever, and he does. But like he has a stunted growth, and now he's trying to figure out what's his next role going to be. Is he going to be able to fit into anything? Because like just who he was and the problems he had fit perfectly with the role that they needed.
Yeah, man.
So now it's like
you have to have it, and going. I'm sorry, were you about to say something?
No, that was it. Just
So
that,
yeah, like he was talking about the auditions. People that aren't in this or experience this, like they sometimes don't understand what are the odds of us booking. So like if there's a breakdown, which is a list of characters for this movie, and then the agent's gonna look at this breakdown and say, "Oh, well, Hicks gonna fit that." So I'm gonna get submitted, and then probably 1,000 other people will get submitted. They'll pick, like you said, 100 to audition, and then out of those 100, it'll come down to a couple, sometimes 3, sometimes 2. You get pinned. You fucking wait. You wait for the call from the agent. You wait, and then when you don't get it, you just don't get it. You don't know. Nobody tells you anything. They don't tell you why. They don't tell you didn't get it. If you don't hear something, you didn't get it. So like a lot of people don't understand, like, I guess just how monumentous. Am I saying that right?
monumentous. Yeah.
The process is. It's huge.
It's almost like for being an actor, you kind of want to get yourself out as much as possible.
You do, and in today's world, and I'm sure he can back me up on this. It's fucking social media. I hate social media, but like I do well with it with money, but like most of it is just to stay relevant. No shit. I was at Comic-Con, and this other actor I knew, he walked up to me and he was talking to me, talking about how well I market myself. Actually, I had 2 actors talk to me about how well I market myself. And he actually went for an audition for a reoccurring Netflix series. And one of the first things they asked him was how many fucking Instagram followers he had.
Duncan brought that up.
My brother.
Yeah.
My brother, he's told me, his agents told him after he lost the role where the directors really, really wanted him, right? But it got to the end, he didn't get it, and they're like, what's going on? Now against another guy who acts similarly and looks just like him, they said the other guy's social media was bigger. And that's what they wanted. They wanted the name recognition.
And as long as his brother's been acting, I mean, his brother's got the craft home, bro. Like, he books the shit.
He struggled the last year and a half to find a job.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Because of that stuff.
That your brother was one of those people that inspired me. You're like, hey, a dude from down on the bayous can do this. Like he was one of those. He was one of those people.
I'll let him know that. He'll be happy to hear that.
He was one of those people that inspired me, man. He, it's like you see somebody from where you from do it, and you're like, man, I could fucking do that too. If I work really hard, like I can do. And he had, how old he was when he started acting? He was really young.
I mean, we were kids, but when he first made the transition from just like little commercials and stuff to LA, he was 15.
But you have to keep that in mind, what you just said. You heard how you ended it off. If you work really hard at it.
If you work really hard at it. Because I started.
That's the key. That's the key nowadays.
I started
working
at
hard.
40 years old, and I didn't know shit. I got, going back to what we were talking about, I got a background role at NCIS New Orleans, and I had a little airtime, and I fell in love with it. And then I got a featured role on NCIS New Orleans. I thought when I left that first time, I was like, that was it. That's my 15 minutes of fame. And I got another call because, character, man, and punctuality and being professional is everything when you're on set, and especially if you're not a big name. But they called me back, got on. Does it keep moving?
No, it's just.
Do I have some fucking ghost in there?
No, it's just.
I think you're leaning farther back.
I'm leaning farther back? Yeah. This sofa's really comfortable.
Comfy, so right?
You start sinking in it.
So, like, this is y'all fault, not mine. But good observation, man. But I
Thanks for pranking him. He's gonna be like, y'all fucking pranking me. Like,
I'm gonna end up like down here.
he's just melting.
By the end of the podcast, he's gonna be asleep.
Melting.
I shrunk. I had a long day. So anyway, I did a feature background role, and then I went to do a film. They had like a featured core group of guys, Civil War soldier in Antebellum, and this was in 2019, and I was on set that day. And this other actor, Caleb Nucka, that was there. We were both in this core. Well, I had an individual role, and he was in part of this core group. And I was like Hero Confederate or some shit. I don't even remember what it was, some weird title. And he's like, dude, you should like really study acting. And I was like, yeah, because I knew that's where I needed to head. So I started studying, and then one of my first acting coaches. So when I got sober, I grew a beard. They wanted me to grow a plant. I was afraid I'd grow weed. They wanted me to get a pet. I already had a dog. So I grew a beard, and I haven't shaved this beard since I got sober. It's been long, it's been short, but I've never took it lower than probably that, maybe. So anyway, he says, you should study acting. I get this acting coach, and he's a brilliant coach, and I love him to death, you know, but he challenged me really, you know, hard in the beginning, because he told me, he said, you know, it's going to be really hard for you to book with that beard. And I was like, damn. So what I did was, I understood what he was saying, and he was right. I knew it'd be an obstacle. And I studied with him for a little while, and then I studied, you know, with different other people. But probably about 2 months into class, I booked a movie called Obsidian. It was an independent horror film. Actually, she writes novels, and she's in Connecticut, the director and the writer. And she just called me the other day because she wrote a book about Louisiana, and she wanted to know how Graton was pronounced. Pork crackling. In case nobody knows what that is, people constantly message me what a Graton is. But anyway, I booked this Obsidian role, but I learned how to act with my eyes, because I knew I wasn't shaving. I mean, unless you're going to give me a shitload of money.
Is that why they said, because like you can't see, like if you're smiling or
and that was his thing, was that, you know, you have this certain look, and it's going to be really hard to like, you know, read expression and emotion. So I knew this is where my cell had to be.
Like, why the fuck do they keep asking me to be Santa Claus?
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, why is every fucking movie a Christmas movie?
I got eyes. But it's come. It's been unique, and I've gotten really cool roles because of my acting and my look, and you know. But I did that, and I studied and started out, you know, like we all do with short films and independent films, and worked many of those. Some 48 hours early in the beginning in like 2019. You know, just whatever I could do to practice my craft while studying. And that's what one thing a lot of actors, people want to get into acting, don't understand. Like, even if you're not on some big budget thing, like you continue and have to like practice your craft. Like, it's like a muscle. Like when you go to the gym, like it's something that you constantly have to work out, because acting is human behavior. And as a human, we constantly growing. So it's constantly changing, and you constantly growing into something else and something else and something else. And finally, you know how long it takes to build a demo reel. We're just talking about that shit, right? So finally I had this demo reel built, and I had a resume with extensive training on it, different methods of training and you name it, script analysis and all this shit. And I was able to make a submission packet to send to an agency to like really get picked up in an agency. I had done really well without an agent. I booked Emancipation with Will Smith. I had a supporting role in that film without an agent, side contract. I showed up. I had stopped background acting in 2019, and I showed up. They were filming Your Honor with Cranston, right, in New Orleans. And I remember having a day off, and I'm like, it would be cool to try to book this as a background just to go see Cranston, like, act, man. Like, just to watch him do his thing, you know. So I ended up booking it as a bar patron, and we shooting across the street at this bar by Frank's Frost Top in New Orleans. And we standing there, and the PA's got us all kind of herded like cattle. You know, they had like 15 of us, maybe, or 20. And this crew member is like, hey, you study acting, right? I'm like, yeah, like I study acting. He's like, yeah, come see with me. So he brings me across to the bar, and the first AD comes to me. He's like, you can bartend? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right. He's like, we're going to give you a line with Cranston. Well, at the time, I didn't know it was Cranston. He said, we're going to give you a line with the actor. And it was like a one line. Y'all can go look up. I have it on the reel. It was just a one line. And so I go into this bar not knowing even Cranston's filming there, right? I go in this bar, and they're like, look, you're going to kind of figure some stuff out behind the bar, you know, kind of look busy. We're going to have the stand-ins weren't there yet. We're going to have an actor here, And the actor here is going to order a drink from you, and you're going to be like, I got you, coming right up. I think it was coming right up. I can't remember what the fucking line was. I'd probably have to look it up. But it was like just one liner, a couple words. And he's like, and that's going to be it. Like, that's what's going to happen, you know? He's like, when he's going to ask you for the drink, he's going to look at you. He's going to get your attention. He's like, and then you're going to deliver your line, and you're going to bring him a drink, and you're going to pour it. So I'm like, oh, cool, you know? So the stand-ins show up, and their name tags were the characters. Well, I knew nothing about Your Honor at the time or who the characters were or what it was about. Like, I just wanted to go see, like, Cranston act. And, you know, I didn't know if he was going to be in any scene that day, or if he was walking into the bar, if he was a person just sitting in the bar, if he was going to be there at all. It could have been like 2 supporting, you know, co-star roles because it was a series. So I'm talking to the stand-ins. I asked the PA if props had some kind of money that I can count, like to do a till. And I had my back turned, and I'm trying to figure all this out. And I never heard first team called or nothing. So I turn around, and there's fucking Cranston. And this, man, I'd kill me to think of this other actor. He was like in Footloose and all. He was a brilliant performer. The guy killed it that day. And there he is. And I'm like, holy shit. Like from me to you, standing across. I'm behind the bar a little bit, you know, and he's sitting at the bar. And I'm like, man, I'm about to do this with Cranston, you know.
About to throw your holes.
Yeah, man. He was like,
acting off.
He's like, hey, he's like, I'm Brian. And the inside of me was like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like, I know who you are, bro. Like, are you kidding me? But, yeah, I'm like, I'm Hick. And he's like, Hick. He's like, oh, man, it's a unusual name, you know. And we chatted a little while. He was really cool. And, yeah, man, you know, I started pouring in like 3-finger shots. And he's like, whoa, easy. And it wasn't real alcohol. But he's like, man, I was like, look, I'm an alcoholic and you're in Louisiana. Like, they're going to be some big shots. He's like, yeah, pour me about 2 fingers or like a finger, you know, to make it look like it's a bar shot, you know? And I'm like, no problem. So they got with me and they showed me exactly how much they wanted it filled. And I had my one line with Cranston, and he was like really cool, like a really cool guy. He's more of like the Malcolm in the Middle dad, you know, when he's not. And I mean, this is the guy that can just turn it on and off. This was a heavy scene. If y'all go look opening scene of episode 3, this is a heavy scene. Like, and I mean, that man was just like, it was like a switch. And to see that early in my career, before I had an agent, when I was just studying acting, I was like, man, like, what a lesson that I got. Like, what a lesson that I got. Boom, a line with him.
Now
you know?
Got to understand. First off, just having a line. First off, just having a line is a big deal for an actor. Getting just being a cop that says, yes, sir, right away, sir. Something like that is huge. It makes you SAG eligible. It changes the trajectory of your career, right? So that's first. Second, what he experienced there is like the goal for almost every person who does extras work, background work, right? But it rarely happens. I've done extras and background work for loads of projects. I've seen it happen once or twice. I think the only time I remember it happening was on Greyhound, but because you had the same 40 guys there playing the soldiers on the boat with Tom Hanks, and they pulled 2 guys up, right? That's the only time I've ever seen it happen in front of me.
Very rare.
It's so rare, but it's the dream for all these people. There's people who will do extras work for years, never come close to even being like spoken to.
Yeah, because indirectly you become kind of a main role at some point.
You know, I mean, it's such a big thing, and you've got these people who think like it's a mistake a lot of people can make early on to think, oh, if I start doing extras work, that's the path, and it's like that's part of it.
It is, and you learn a lot doing extra work. You learn the technical aspects of set and blocking, and you pay attention.
Just how to act.
I know a lot of people
go
do background work for a check, and they don't give a fuck. They just I'll walk across the street or whatever. But I went and I learned everything I could because I didn't go to film school. I didn't have that training. I didn't understand how none of that worked. So I used my background years to gain as much knowledge as I could. Eventually became a stand-in. And that's where I really learned a lot, is when I was standing in for actors, right? Stand-in is when, in case nobody knows, you stand in for the actor, for them to do all the blocking, the camera, their lighting, and their sound, like all of it. You experience everything the actor does, and then they'll call in the actors, and then you leave, and sometimes standing in, I don't know if you ever experienced this, if you ever stood in.
I've been standing.
I've having to give notes to the actors. Like, hey, man, just heads up. They changed the blocking on, they'll ask anything changed, anything. You know, so you start to really understand what they do and what the crew does around you and what really goes on. So, yeah, man, at Cranston, and you know, it was kind of like I couldn't believe what I walked into here.
Yeah.
I was driving home, and I'm like, I can't believe this fucking happened. Like, it's like winning the lottery, bro. Like, you know, it's a feeling that you can't explain. So fast forward, I continued to study. COVID hit. You know, we're all affected by that, and it was a big dent in our acting careers and production here. And I luckily I continued to work during COVID. I did Adam the First with David Duchovny in Mississippi, and that was all during COVID. So I stayed a little busy, but not busy enough. But blessed that I was busy. And finally in 2022, I was like, all right, I'm going to get some really good headshots. And I have enough shit to make a demo reel. And I have enough training. And I put the whole submission pack together like I told you. I went to Barb Jones in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going back in April. It's time for me to get some news. She's an amazing headshot photographer. And I put all my shit together, and you kind of like, you can ask them, it's kind of like this little package of you. This is your worth, bro. Here it is in like one file, one email, like all these years, you know. So from 2018 to 2022, all this work is how long it took me to build it. And I was telling him earlier, I think in here, you know, like I send it off to all these agencies, but this one agency I thought I wasn't good enough for. I send my packet off to all these agencies except this one, and like 2 weeks go by and I don't hear shit. So now, like, I'm questioning myself, like, as an actor, like, maybe is this what I should be doing? Like, nobody, all this work, like, nobody bit. Like, I feel like I'm a good actor. I feel like I can do this. And finally, one day, I just said, fuck it. And I sent it to that one agency that wasn't taking submissions and that you have to have multiple referrals on. And I sent it to her, and I got an email the next day. Can you talk on Friday? Yes. Talked to her on Friday. And they, you know, talk about social media. She was like, yeah, you know, I'm on the phone with her, and she's like, your social media, you have to, you know, you represent us. And, you know, you were to come on, you represent us. And, you know, she made that really clear. And I was like, I don't post crazy stuff, or, you know, you're not getting any kind of crazy things with me. And she's like, oh, I know. She's like, I've looked at everything you have. She went through it all.
That's crazy.
And she's like, also, too, you know, like, the reason you're getting this phone call is because there's a number of actors, when I reached out to them, that said, you better sign this guy. And it's kind of emotional for me, man. To know that the person I was and the character I built today, that I had people who didn't know me but only worked with me, saw my walk, and went and vouched for me with this agent.
Oh, yeah.
So that was I remember when I sent those submissions sitting at the name of that pool boy joint by the racetrack. I cried like a baby, man. Because I knew, I still get pretty emotional about it.
Oh, you good.
I knew when I hit send on that fucking computer or the phone or whatever it was I was on, I think it was on the phone, that all the work and years and sacrifice it took for me even to get to that point to send it. And like I said, I didn't hear the shit for 2 weeks. It fucked with me. And then that happened. And to know that other actors that I worked with went to her and said, you know what, like, you got to sign this guy. Like, you got to sign this guy. So she said, I'm going to put you on 3 months probationary period. And so she put me on a probationary period. And she throws me this audition. And it's a fucking Mars Bar commercial.
Mars Bar.
Mars Bar commercial.
That's what he is. What's the numbers? Is it like?
I don't remember the number, but I got like $425,000 in the lawsuit.
No, that's the other one.
Not really, but
Okay.
So I did. Mars Bar's the one that owns the Pelicans and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here. Like, she's throwing me something. It's not meaty, but I got to do what I got to do, right? I'm an actor, and this is what I do. So I do it. It's like 17 minutes of work. Let me tell you something. that commercial paid me well. And they continued to pay me well for years. It was all over.
Oh, so as long as it's running, it's paying?
It was all over. Yeah, well, they're gonna run it for so long, and then they're gonna offer you to renew it. And we love those. When something gets renewed, we keep getting checks. Finally, they bought me out my contract. But she did that. And on my birthday, May 17th, it was Smashing Pumpkins were playing in Champion Square. And I took my kids and my girlfriend and I, and we went to that. And we were staying in a little Airbnb in Manchac, of all places, called the Gator Getaway. The middle of right off the side of the road past Middendorf, across the bayou from it. I'm not. Really anyway, I thought it was a cool spot, and it was away from the city, and it was a place like we could have some family time. And while I'm there, I get a call from my agent that I booked a cool star role in Mayfair Witches. And I was like, shit. And I had to hurry and run to New Orleans, do a COVID test. Which, man, the only good thing that came out of COVID is we got paid a lot of money for COVID tests. Every time, Emancipation, I was getting paid for every time I tested. Every time I tested. I booked Mayfair Witches, and then that's it, man. I continued to book. I went, and, finally, she was like, all right, you exclusively with me, and, like, let's get it all done, get the paperwork done, and sign the contract.
So that's who you with currently now?
Yeah, that's who I'm with. Her name is Angie Moncrief, and I love her, dude. She's amazing. She's great with Action Talent Agency, and I've been really blessed. And also, what's kind of cool about that is I posted about this the other day with Billy Slaughter. He was there at Comic-Con. And Billy was a stand-in for Dustin Hoffman, his personal stand-in. Everything he did, Meet the Fucker, all that shit. But Billy's a very talented actor. Billy studied in London on stage and shit. And Billy was a guy back in 2015 that I just like looked up to as an actor. I'm like, man, this guy's from New Orleans and he does all this or whatever. And now we have the same agent. We became real good friends. We studied together. So that was a kind of a thing that the universe made happen too.
Right. That's actually cool. I mean, I'm sure you meet all kind of crazy people doing this, and just actors that you probably looked up to your entire life, and then now you're getting to work with them and all. And that just goes to show, to your statement earlier, if you work at anything hard enough, you're gonna get some type of results.
Yep.
And I think that's what's most people's problems these days. It's like just laziness and not really putting their full potential into what they actually want to do, right?
They want it to just fucking happen.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna happen. No. It's gonna be very uncomfortable.
You gotta put.
It's gonna be very uncomfortable. That process will fucking hurt.
You gotta get uncomfortable before you get comfortable, and once you start getting comfortable, you better switch up, because you shouldn't even be comfortable.
Exactly.
You should never be comfortable.
And that's why I don't stop. I never get comfortable. Except the sofa.
The
sofa's comfortable.
The second that I start getting comfortable, I'm just like, well, shit, what more can I be doing right now? Because, like, something's not right. Like, if I'm not busy or, like, looking up something or trying to figure something out at my house or whatever it may be,
yep,
I'm falling behind.
Every second you sitting down thinking about that shit, you fucking missing an opportunity. Because let me tell you something. If I would have decided that one day I was like, I'm bored, I want to do background work, maybe I'll see Cranston. What if I said, fuck that, I'm going to take my day off, sit at the house in the recliner,
Correct.
Do whatever.
Yeah, you never made that connection.
But, like, God damn it, man, like, you can't. Like, there's so much opportunity. The opportunity of me meeting y'all.
I was literally about to say that this past weekend.
You know what's
we
crazy?
Didn't know if we was gonna go to the.
I was about to say you just finished telling me before. He's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna end up going, and
I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna end up going. I was just like, it was really because my fiance didn't want to go, but I just wanted to go check it out. It was my birthday. I wasn't really doing too much. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ride.
Happy birthday, man. Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it. So I was just like, let's go check it out or whatever. We'll go, support Davey. And I mean, we had a good time. We got to see everything that was out there, but then I ended up making like 3 awesome connections. You was one of them.
You just never know whose path you'll cross. You never know what opportunity. But if you're sitting at home fucking dreaming about it, nothing will ever happen. Like, dreams take fucking action. Like, some people just can't get that. Look, man, I'll help anybody who wants to get into acting. But when I have people come at me like, hey, man, get me in a movie.
Shut the fuck up. That's what you
That's
want
real
to,
shit.
Yeah, I can't even believe that.
That's real shit. You know, like
That's like pretty
I'm
much
sure
asking for a
you
handout.
dealt with it and your brothers dealt with it. Like, you know,
It's like saying, "Hey, give me the winning lotto ticket."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
like you could get me in a movie. You know, like
Yeah, okay.
hey, can you? I can act. Like I'll get those. Like, hey, bro, like I can act. Like I did, variety show in like middle school. Like,
yeah,
bro,
let me call up my head producer
And
and
look-
tell him, hey, yeah, I'm telling you that you're gonna be able to get this guy. Like that don't work like
and
that.
it breaks my heart, man, because I know how excited they are. I know how exciting this life could look to other people, because it's just not a normal life. And it's not all that exciting. I'm grateful for it, and I get to do something I love to do, but it's not all that exciting. It takes a lot of work, and it breaks my heart sometimes to say, like, okay, and I have this thing, like, made out in my notes already, bro, to become an actor. Here are the 10 things you need to do. And there's some long things, Number one, I think number one's like, do you have an actor's access? Do you have headshots? Do you have how much years of training you have? Because I'm going to tell you now, if you don't have training, if you don't have good headshots, if you don't have some kind of demo reel, something to show a casting an agent, nobody will touch you or take you serious. And I had to learn that. Like, I had to learn that process. So I have this whole thing that I send to people when they're like, hey, man, how do I become an actor? I go in my notes and I shoot it to them. I'm like, this is how. And let me tell you something, bro. I've had dozens and dozens and dozens of people reach out to me, and I gave them exactly what they needed to do.
How many of them people?
0.
That's what I'm saying. See what
0.
See what I'm saying, though?
Some want to, but when they find out, because this is something else we don't talk about, is how much fucking money we invest in acting.
Oh, so so a lot of people get turned off by that also?
Dude, when you find out how much you got to pay for professional headshots, and some people want to take the easier route, go somebody cheap. You ain't gonna go look at. Everybody, all these casting directors, agents know the headshot photographers in this whole region. So, like, if you're not getting shot by somebody that knows what they're doing, that their name is out there, like, you're not gonna get looked at. So headshots, that's expensive. Like, dude, I'm traveling in April, and I'm friends with her, and she's giving me a discount. But like, I'm traveling in April to fucking Tennessee
To take headshots?
to take my headshots, because that's who shot my first headshots, and they did really well. And she's really good. Her name's Barb Jones, dude. She's amazing. Like, she's absolutely amazing. What she could do with just the most simple lighting is from cinematic to commercial headshot. She's amazing. But like, so they don't understand that you got to pay for that. That costs money. Then you got to pay for your IMDb. You got to pay for Actors Access, which is a site that him and I, like, we get auditions off of. How we get submitted, how our agents submitted, whatever. There's that money. And then I like to know the money I spent doing background work.
Just traveling and going and paying for hotels.
We don't make money in background work, right? It's not like being on a side contract. We're making like $100-something bucks a day. You're in the negative. At the end of the day, bro, you're in the negative. The riches I was getting that day was the knowledge.
Right.
That time putting in the knowledge of like I talked about earlier, learning all that shit. So that's a big turnoff when it sees how much you have to invest, and it doesn't end. As an actor, you constantly invest in yourself. Classes, different technique classes, method classes, script analysis classes. If you're going to dialect classes,
I feel like that's every industry though. I think just with y'all's, it's set up a little bit differently, where like it's having to come out of y'all pockets.
It's like, coming out of our pockets. You know what I'm saying?
Like, doing this for no return for possibly
and
years.
Possibly no return. So like when him and I, like if we get an email from our agent or C-mail saying that we have this audition, like we stop at what we do, and we put all these hours into analyzing this script and coming up with this character, and then we shooting it, and we spending all that time doing it, and then we sending it off. We don't get paid for that shit.
That's on your own time.
That's on my time.
Yeah.
That's on his time. That's on our time. So you got to think about the time, which to me is more priceless than money will ever be, because I'm almost half a century old, man. Like, my time is valuable. Like, I don't like people wasting my time. So I would definitely. So you think about all that time you put in it, and then all the money you put in it. Like, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And mentally, I know some people that can't handle it. They completely get out of the industry. They can't take the rejection. They can't take the constant work that you got to keep putting into it. Like, I still study. Like, I'm taking a class with Tim Phillips. He wrote an amazing book on script analysis. He's look him up. If you don't know who Tim Phillips is, he's amazing. But James Dumont's gonna have them, and I'm taking a class Sunday. Like, it don't stop. Like, you continue, you continue, and to not keep yourself. You don't want to stay rusty
or stagnant.
You want to keep your shit sharp.
Is there ever gonna be a time that you think that anytime, like in the soon or near future, where you could be like, this is where I want to go with my acting career, and this is where I'm gonna try to take it, and if it doesn't work out, like, you kind of like gonna toss it, or you always gonna feel like you're gonna be trying to apply for roles, and like just because like you love it so much, like this is always just gonna be like one of those things for you.
I guess it's gonna be like dope on alcohol when I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like, I'm at a pivotal point right now in my career because, I don't look. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm not weathered enough.
Like you're not getting like you. Like
I'm not weathered
young.
enough, so I'm in this weird like category where I can play a guy like in his late 30s if I trim a lot of the white out my beard and stuff. But I'm getting there. I'm starting to see like some good crow's feet and shit. Isn't that crazy? Like, how fucked up is that?
Like that you want
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, that's how much I love this shit.
Yeah, that you want that so that you can play.
Like, that's how much I love this shit. Like, I'm like, man, I can't wait until my face looks older. Who fucking says that, bro? Like, nobody says that, but you have to be insane.
Duncan's over here. No, I want to look sexy forever.
You have to be insane, like, to do this shit. I'm telling you, it's nuts. But insane, but have your shit together. But yeah, so like, I've been offered management multiple times. Am I ready to kick somebody 15% on everything? Absolutely not. Maybe when I feel that I'm not seen enough nationally, then I'll go that route. But right now, I don't know, man. I have a really good life, and I think that God, universe, whatever you want to call them, puts the right things in my life when He does, and things that I don't get or the opportunities I don't get, they probably weren't right for me, And I have to trust that process for right now. But I thought about. I think there's going to come a time where I will get management and I will get agents in different regions. But right now I'm kind of happy in the Southeast, and I want to get enough. I don't know if you ever feel like this, but you kind of want to get enough beefier credits under your belt before you would like want to expand like to Chicago or New York, or
especially once you go to those places, because once you get there, everybody's trying for it.
Everybody.
You go from big fish and small pond to...
I got a better chance here.
Small fish.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, over there, I mean, you got to understand not just the people who live, like, in L.A., but the people who come from all around the world to L.A.
Just to go try.
To obtain that dream. It's fucking wild. I couldn't imagine that market.
With a unique look like you have, once you go out to L.A. or something like that, there's going to be 100 people in that room who look exactly like you.
Yep.
No matter what your niche is.
I was watching The Big Bang the other day, The Big Bang Theory, and Penny, how she was like a struggling actress or whatever the whole time throughout the show. She like went back to try out her acting career, and she walked in a room and there was like literally 100 blondes that looked the most exactly like her. And then she was like, "Oh, now I remember why I quit acting." And like she like left.
It's a rat race, bro. You have to be I hate to use this word, but a special kind of breed of human being, I guess, for it. Mentally and it's kind of crazy because most people think that actors are like, they have to be entertainment all the time. But like, dude, I like being home. I'm very introverted. Even though I do a lot of interviews and I act like I'm very introverted, I don't like crowds. I don't like, but
I'm actually the exact same way. Like if I go to an event or whatever, we get in VIP, or if I don't have VIP or somewhere that I can sit in a secluded area, I'm not going.
It's really tough. It's really tough for me. Like riding, I don't know if you knew this, but I was the grand marshal of the parade Mardi Gras Day here in Houma. They gave me the key to the city, bro.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Like little old me, right? A dude that was born to fail. The parish president gave me a key to the city, Even though my first thought was like, I wonder if it opens like Corn Dog 7's gate.
The secret to their fry recipe or something.
But doing that parade, especially a guy that doesn't drink, by myself. Well, my girl was with me on my foot, but she stayed back at the bottom, so it was just me and like both sides. Let me tell you something, bro. Homeless parades are fucking wild.
Oh yeah, some of the wildest parades that they have.
Wild.
The wildest in the country, I would say, besides maybe like New Orleans, that some of them get like a little too
Yeah.
crazy. But Homa's like known for its parades.
It was wild, man. Once I turned off that road by the mall and saw that, I was like, holy shit. And I brought, like, I had the coolest throws, dude. I threw bags of Camilla red beans, French breads. I always make jokes on Facebook about, so in Cajun French and underwear, we call it a conson. And it rhymes with gratons. So I always like, I'll say I'm sitting in my chair eating gratons in my conson or whatever. So I went by some tidy whities, right, and autographed them. And my girlfriend's idea, she's like, that'd be funny, they usually throw women's underwear. She's like, but what if you threw like a whitey tidy brief, So at the Walmart and loaded up on those, loaded up on a bunch of French bread and shit. But it was funny because I'm like, is this weird that I'm throwing like dudes underwear? Like, and she's like, no, she's like, it's gonna be great. And let me tell you something, I have the most amazing supportive partner. Like, she's my reader. She does a lot of my fucking everything, assistant, any PR work. Like, she's the shit, dude. Like, she's amazing. I would not be where I am without her. But yeah, dude, there were people asking for him because one night I just took a picture of me autographing one, and I was like, made some stupid post about like, I never thought I'd be autographing Cornson, so I'm autograph parade, but here I am.
That's funny.
Nobody's getting step ins. That's what we call a women's underwear in French, down the bay. And people went nuts over it. People were screaming, "Give me a Cornson! Give me!" I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? But it was get back to what I was saying. It was a very overwhelming experience, because I'm a guy that doesn't like big crowds, and I don't really do Mardi Gras, but I was asked, and I'm like, man, I'm honored, humbled to do this.
Well, you got Yukon on one float, and the float behind you is coming with Austin, and he's throwing Dill pickles at people and shit. That's what they like to do. They get like a big old pallet of pickles every year.
What parade you rode?
Hercules and Terranians.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did a crew of Cajuns. And
Matter of fact, for Hercules, we were the last float.
You were the last float. Yeah, I stay home for Mardi Gras. It's a wild around here.
Yeah, I didn't do too much.
Home was fucking wild for Mardi Gras.
We went to Austin's spot that he had. He had just bought that building over there, and we went hang out a little while. But we left every parade early just because that's not. It's
a lot of people. Look, it's crazy. People don't understand. People turn out in Home of a parade.
What the crazy thing is, and hopefully nobody that watches this from Homa takes any offense, but for a lot of these people around here, man, this is what they look forward to. They don't get to go on vacation at Disney World, or go to
look by the mall. They park their trucks 4 weeks in advance. 4 weeks in advance.
Yeah, like a lot of these people, this is the highlight of their year.
Yeah, and I think also too. I was really thinking about Mardi Gras when I was getting ready to do this whole experience. I called it an experience because it was just an amazing experience. Was that like the stress after the holidays? Look, man, we all fucking look. I'm an actor, but I'm a fucking blue collar worker, bro.
Right.
Like, I still work in the oil field. Like, that's how I make, my nut. Like, acting. You can tell him, bro, you can't live off of acting, I mean, his brother's a huge actor. Like, to me, his brother's like fucking amazing actor, huge actor. But like, you can't work all the time. I'm sure you've seen your brother not work. So a lot of people have that misconception. But I think it's a good, Christmas is really hard on any blue collar worker, Fuck, it's hard on me, man. And, it's like after the holidays, and man, think about it. January is pretty dreary here. It's cold. These are, we people that like to be out in the fucking sun, we Cajuns. And I think it's just this release of the built up stress of the year before and the holidays, and that's what's kind of cool about it. We get to go and just act crazy and then fucking repent after, right? Because it's Easter and shit, right? And Lent, right?
Yeah, that's what everybody. I saw a bunch of posts like that, like all y'all girls that was twerking y'all asses in the street all at Sunday or Wednesday.
Go get your ashes and go get your ashes.
That's actually wild.
So I think it's just a big release, and it's kind of the biggest thing, And I think Homa's pretty lucky because they have some really cool festivals. Homa's doing it, man, with their festivals and these events. So I was honored to do it, and I'm truly grateful. And the people in Homa, y'all listening, y'all showed me a hell of a time, and thank y'all for being so welcoming. And I got the key to the city. I think I still think that's fucking mind.
That
It
is
blows
awesome.
my mind, bro.
Going back to that, what if it's actually like the keys to the bridges and like
Well,
he's got the only key that
well,
fucking
I was-
keeps
I was-
him running?
I was
The
That's
key
why
to
they're always
the-
fucking
No,
broken.
I was
The
thinking
key
like
to the Dularge Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's like, Hick, we need you to come to bridge number 7 is down.
My thought was like, you show up to like the water plant or something, and like they got like a secret club. Like, where's your key? I got it right here. And they let you in a secret door or something.
Have you considered maybe down here, teaching some acting classes or something like that to, help people like
That's
get
kinda-
in and get started?
I've people have reached out to me about teaching, but as an actor, when would you feel ready to teach? Isn't that a fucking hard thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is. I could teach a class on basics, and I could teach a class on, a script analysis and helping an actor get there, and I could teach a class on how to get into business. I have like an introduction class into acting, but I don't know. I've thought about it. I've been asked, but I think it goes back to like our confidence in believing, or because how long was it for you until you could say, "I'm an actor"?
I still feel like I'm working on that.
It took me a long time, and so, man, you see, you're right, because like I guess I am too, because sometimes I do ask myself, like, because people are like, "Oh, you're an actor."
Well, we started out the podcast, and he was like, "Don't call me a star."
No,
You know what I mean?
I think there's a big difference between like an actor and a star,
Right.
Or the fucking word celebrity. I hate the celebrity, or God damn it, this one. Hey, Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like whenever somebody screams at you like that, it's almost like they're trying to like downgrade you almost in a way. You don't
said
feel that
to me
sometimes?
walking into this damn
No,
office,
I'm
dog.
talking about like, all right, so like I notice like
That's
sometimes
crazy.
I notice sometimes like we'll be out or whatever, and then somebody be like, "Oh, big podcast guy" or whatever. I'm just like,
Right.
all shut the
So,
fuck up.
like,
what are we talking about right
So,
now?
but the crazy thing is that you just don't know, because for some people that is exciting, and for some people that may not mean, they may not mean to be making it, downgrading. So you just don't know, but like it is a real thought that I have,
Right.
as to where like, are they fucking with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are they being supportive? Are they fucking with me? So I think that all comes with the thick skin thing. You have to kind of like, maybe they're excited about it, and just maybe that's what it is. And if it's not, you know what, like it doesn't affect what you're doing, and you just got to keep moving forward and doing what you do.
Every single time it happened to me, I just walk up. Yeah, man, Nick Sanchez, nice to meet you. I'm glad you like the podcast. I'm glad you watch. And then I walk away.
And that's what you can do. I think I had one time on this guy on Facebook was fucking giving me some shit about like, what you been in? That's one of the big things too. They're like, well, what you been in? Fucking Google, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I know.
know IMDb me, but a lot of people don't know those things. Like, they don't think about those things like I would think about. Oh, well, let me just Google it, or let me look up IMDb. So like I always, again, I'm so lucky to be where I am, and so no matter how I may perceive something, I don't know what their truth is to it. So I just treat everyone with kindness and compassion and understanding, and help them in any way I can. I'm like, this is what it is. Check out IMDb, go type in my name or whatever. Because to some people that's common and they may know about it, and some people are just maybe unaware of it. So I always keep an open mind with that. But yeah, sometimes it is to where like, they fucking with me.
Yeah.
Are they fucking with me? Or they're saying this to me kind of sideways. But
So
if it does sound like it,
it sounds like
yeah,
you could kind of tell, and the way that I see it, like you could kind of hear the sarcasticness in their voices whenever if that's the case. I mean, it hasn't happened to me too many. It happened to me like twice, and it was from friends that I knew, and I was just like, fuck y'all,
Yeah.
like kind of deal. But it was just like, people are talking,
yeah,
so let them talk. That's all.
yeah.
No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, I think Cameron, my girl, she broke it down to me one day. She's like, you may not think this. She says, but what you're doing is unique, and it's not norm.
Correct.
Right? She's like, and that's exciting for people. And that helped me kind of get a better understanding of, because we get so lost in what we're doing in this industry. Like, being an actor, period. Because we so focused on the goal, and we so focused on the prize, which there's no prize at the end. We just want to be relevant and keep working. But, you know, you kind of forget what you're doing is like, you know, like to them,
it's next level.
To them, it's how I felt driving home from doing a line with Cranston.
Right.
You know, but like I should say, and I've talked to a couple of actors, you kind of forget that a little bit.
But you take it for granted. You kind of in a way, because look, we do it every day, and then
right, you kind of get complacent.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm glad you said that, because like how you came in and you said, "Whoa, y'all got like it going crazy, dude." Every single podcast guest has walked in here and literally said the exact same thing, like, "Oh my god, like look at the studio, what am I walking into?" type of deal. But like we kind of talked about it before, like it's just like another day for us. Like we don't
get
even
used
like,
to it.
Yeah, we don't even like, but like we remember like, damn, we do got cool shit going on, and we are doing a good job, and we are doing big things. We don't take the time and pat ourselves on the back. We don't. When's the last time we went have a celebration dinner for something that we did big?
But it's like me and you talked about earlier before the podcast. People like to live through other people's experiences.
They do.
They do. So it's kind of one of those things. But like you said, we do the hustle and bustle every day, and yeah, I mean, you know, until like you said, somebody said, "Oh man, wow, this is really cool." I'm like, I didn't even really think about it like that. But when you sit back, you're like, yeah, it is cool, but
yeah, bro, it's pretty cool.
It's
like, you know how many podcasts I've done? Like, I've done a lot of podcasts. Like, I've done a lot of interviews, but like this studio is dope. I mean,
that's wild to hear, because we never really thought.
We glad to hear that though, because
like it's dope. Like y'all have something really special here.
Well, no, we put a lot of work into it, and that's one of the things where I kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Full circle is we trying to grow this community, and we want people to see that we can do things that people are doing other places too. We want to bring kids from Nichols to come over here. You know, we do partnerships with them through internships and stuff like that. We want to bring Fletcher kids over and show them more process and what we have and how we do things. But I mean, dude, to build this studio out, it was a lot of research, and we didn't just go look and say, oh, what did these people do or whatever. We did all of the research. Honestly, I did all the research myself. I found it, and then Austin wrote the checks. You know? So it's like,
yeah, I mean, y'all have something really special, man. And I think it's a great opportunity to give something that we don't have, you know, in the area, offer it back, like, to the community of the ones interested in this type of, you know, technology and you know, this whole process.
Well, it's also too like giving people a voice. So like, I'm not sitting here claiming we the biggest show, we the top notch. We still growing podcasts. We've been doing it for a year now, but we had the point. I think just our Instagram and Facebook, we did 300,000 views, and between probably TikTok and YouTube, would probably be like another 200,000. So we're pretty much doing around 500,000 views a month right now. So we want people that don't get the exposure that they're supposed to get to come on and let people be able to see what they got going on and what they're doing, because, you know, where else are you going to have an opportunity like this besides if you go to another state or, I don't know, I mean, does anybody else in Louisiana have anything kind of going on to this scale?
I think that's what attracted me to this podcast it was something that I haven't seen before. It was real. It was organic. It was a variety of guests from all aspects. I mean, y'all touch on just
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, you know, and a lot of podcasts do. But I feel like y'all, you know, individualize it. See, you know, with different guests and their background and what their story is. Yes. And if you look at everybody y'all did, there's always this like one key component. It was an underdog story.
Correct.
It's perseverance involved. And, you know, I think if any time in the history of the fucking world right now is we need that. The world needs that. The world needs that hope, you know? So if you can get somebody on here that has a story to tell, you know, and kind of pick their brains about it, and somebody's listening and they take one little tiny speck from it and it changes their life, like, you're doing something bigger than a podcast. You're making changes. You're making life changes for people. You know, so that
I appreciate that.
That's what attracted me to this podcast. You know, I didn't know y'all. I don't know, it was just cool, But I knew y'all had a cool background, but I was like, oh, the whole thing's really cool.
Shit, you pumping Nick's head up. We got to add a bigger door right there.
Lord.
Before
No.
He said, keep saying whatever you want to say. There's no slouch in the couch.
No. I mean, that really is a good thing to hear, though. But that just goes back to show, like, we're willing to invest down here so that people can have these experiences. We want to give more people those experiences. And just like you said, we touch on everything. I'm the biggest. I don't even know how to. What's the opposite of advocator? What word am I looking for? Nah, it's not. It wouldn't be pessimist. The opposite of an advocator, right? I'm the biggest opposite of an advocator as far as niches. You hear all these people going online. Find your niche, choose your niche, figure out your niche, what you're good at, what you're doing, copy and paste or whatever. Dude, if we put ourselves in a box, in a niche, we would not be nearly to the point that we are. And look, congratulations to everybody that does have a niche and was able to make themselves successful in doing it. But just throughout all my companies, my marketing company, another company that we just started, The Wolf Den, we don't have niches. There's not one special certain things that we do. I think with all the companies that we have combined, Austin would have like pretty much the closest to a niche. It would be like crane work. Like that's his niche. Or machine shop, CNC machining, that's a neat. But like even that, y'all do parts for everybody and then y'all lift things for AC companies, for towers, for, so many different. So I wouldn't even say that would be a niche, I'm against niches. I like how you kind of said that.
You
we touch on everything.
Anti-niche.
Anti-niche.
Yeah. That's opposite of advocate.
Yeah. Anti-niche, that's what you're
anti-niche. Well, that's what I would say. If I didn't like niches, I'd say I'm anti-niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I get it. You there's a lot of people duplicating things out there, and I think it's important just finding, fucking Tyrone said it. Find your why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Find your why. Trust me, if you find your why and you push with passion and hard work, you'll have opportunities that sprout up all along the way. If you're a good person and you're doing it right, you'll have opportunities that'll pop up. But it's good to be different. It's good to be different. It's good not to be stuck in that one box.
Well, what you said, and I like that you said that too about, as long as you're doing it right and treating everybody fair and stuff, I'll say that's one thing that we do well. We're very transparent about everything we do, right?
But so got to be.
You got to be.
You got to be in personal relationships. You got to be in business relationships, especially business relationships, because now we're dealing with money.
Yeah.
But you have to be transparent, man. Like, one thing I gained from sobriety was honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You spend enough years lying to yourself and other people, you can believe that shit. But like one thing was being honest and me being transparent in how I feel, like how this made me feel, why I'm doing this, what I'm doing this for, who I'm doing this for. So transparency I think is key. Imagine if we had transparency worldwide.
Yeah, I'm like, and people wouldn't have hidden agendas on you that they're trying to do. Like that's what pisses me off.
Imagine that.
Yeah, like come on, man.
And
I point it out. I call people out. I'm like,
yeah,
what we talking about right now?
Yeah, but look, a lot of that, I think you're giving the world too much credit, man. A lot of people are so naive out there. And look, just like we were talking about earlier, you're talking about all your struggles and everything. You didn't see that TikTok, that girl, how simple it was? She literally made a TikTok that said, well, yeah, I mean, if you're homeless, just buy a house.
Yeah, and then
that was her solution to being homeless. Well, just buy a house.
She was being so dead ass serious and like all the
comments. That was the thing, and they were like, hold up, like
all the comments are ragging her. Yeah. So if you're thirsty or like
if you're in a coma, just wake up.
If you're in a coma, just wake
up.
But
like it was playing how stupid it really was. But people listen. People
if you have dementia, just forget it.
Like people out there are really that ignorant.
And probably over that stupid shit, her shit probably blew up.
No, yeah, that's what it did.
It did, but that's what I'm talking about. It's so crazy that's the world we live in. People just, I don't know. People are ignorant, and they don't take people's struggles for real life scenarios. And I like look, a lot of these celebrities are so, I guess, internet influencers, kind of made famous for just random shit like that.
Like no good reason. I don't think that's gonna last too much longer either. Like all these like streamers and shit like that. I think they're gonna pretty soon because it's like, dude, the people, their target audience is kids. There's gonna be a time eventually where the parents are gonna say, "Hey, why the fuck am I getting charged $80 to get sent to fucking some dude typing at his computer talking to you about nothing, popping fireworks in his room?" You know what I mean? Like, what are we even watch? What are these kids watching? It's just, oh man,
it's crazy out there. Like, it's crazy, and it's not getting any better. You know, it's not the shit I see.
Well, everything that you're doing too, we have to shift to it. Like with the content we make. All right, now we know that the attention span unwent. It used to be, 47 seconds that people would sit there and watch a video. Dude, that shrunk down to like 20 something to 30 seconds. Then if you don't catch their
shorts,
if you don't catch their attention in the first
for that now.
If you don't catch their attention in the first half a second of that short, whenever that pops up, you're done for. You scrolled. If your thumbnail ain't the best looking thumbnail and whatever on YouTube, all right, your video's not getting clicked on. You just missed a view. It's just everything, and it's just changing more and more fastly and more abruptly. It's like, yeah, we could keep up, but at what point is it like, damn, dude, like, let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah, it's and that's what I like too about the length of your podcast. Which we're not going over.
No,
okay.
You
the length of your podcast. A lot of podcasts are even shorter now, 30 minutes. But like, y'all having conversations. Fucking conversations are so important.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about
advice to shorten down to that, and you're like, that's just not who we are. We like having the full conversation.
You know why? Anti-niche.
Correct.
Anti-niche. You're not putting yourself in that fucking box. Don't
get me wrong, we can make a YouTube video, and we actually are making a YouTube video like Fo Wolf Den Skit, but we can make these videos and we can fit them to what everybody wants and wants to watch and all, but then at the end of the day, that's going against our own morals. Like, we want to put out there so that people get back to watching full conversations and actually, absorb the information that they're listening to. You're not getting that with these 10, 15-second videos, and then you scroll to the next video, and then you scroll to the next video. You already forgot what happened 3 videos ago.
Instant gratification, bro. That's what this world is now. It has to be like this. We were talking about it earlier, about getting into acting or getting into something, and they want it right away. That's why the attention spans are short. I mean, man, I loved watching Dances with Wolves. It was 3 hours something plus long. One of my favorite movies, But like, you ask a kid right now, today, in this day and age, to sit through a 3-hour movie, unless it's all CGI and superheroes just blasting this and that.
Don't get me started.
It's not
on
happening.
Movies, man.
It's not happening.
I would hate to see what some of these kids, like in high school these days, because I took a class in high school where they made us watch like all of the films that actually like created the Hollywood industry. So we watched things like Pulp Fiction, Silence of the Lambs, things like that, Kill Bills, all of the, a lot of it was Quentin Tarantino based things. That was that because that teacher loved Quentin Tarantino, but then it was also, we watched a few other types of genres and stuff. But these movies were all from like the late 80s, early 90s, late 90s. Dude, a world of difference compared. Like, actually watching people conversate and just
you get lost in it, man.
Yeah, correct.
It takes, and that's the whole purpose of a film and theaters, is to get us away from this reality. Storytelling for hundreds of years has been that. It's entertainment. It's getting our minds off of the fucking everyday grind of the world, right? And the thing is that, they don't, like, I'm old school movies. Like, I'm Taxi Driver, bro. I'm the Deer Hunter. I'm Easy Rider. And then we had great movies in the 80s. We had great movies in the 90s, and early 2000s, there was a couple of things made. And after that, it was like, they were very rare, right? I mean, they were here and there. You'd find one. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I can't tell you when's the last time I watched. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but it's how I feel. I don't think I've watched a really good movie done recently, like, in a long time.
I did. It was, what was it that I watched? It was actually not that long ago, and it was actually like a really good movie. Like,
was it?
Let me think about it. Me and
He's
my
such a
fian-
tease.
I know.
bro.
Me and my fiance watched it. It was actually not.
It was so good he forgot.
No, it was on Prime. And I ain't got my phone to look it up on the Prime Video on my Prime Video list.
Yeah, shoot me a text when you figure it out.
But it was like actually a really good movie. Like the storyline, it wasn't all kind of crazy CGI and stuff, but it wasn't like an action movie either. It was more like a thriller /
It's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. And
psychological thriller.
yeah. That's exactly
yeah.
And it was really, really good. It had a good story to it, and I was like, damn, Taylor. I was like, that was actually one of the better movies that we watched in a while.
Sure, I need that in my life.
Well, the difference between movies now and back then is now they're making them, like you said, they're trying to play it by the numbers, hit the points. That's why you get so many Avengers-style movies, and even movies that aren't Avengers, it's, quips, it has to be this short, it follows by the numbers. Back in the day, they weren't afraid to make a movie as long as it needed to be to tell the story, right? And if that's a 3-hour movie, it's a 3-hour movie. Me personally, I love longer movies. I've never been sitting in a movie that was so good and been like, man, this is so good, I wish there was less of it, Oh,
I
hate that mindset.
I see movies that's like an hour, 30 minutes, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to watch that. Like if it says
That's
90
a long
minutes
TV
on
episode.
it, yeah, I'm just like,
and that's the thing that's happening is we're talking about the content like earlier, like it being just quick and easy. Now you have streaming services. And streaming services, they are just spitting out. I mean, like content creators spit out content. Look at streaming services. They are spitting out movies like that. Back in the day when you had these older studios, MGM, Warner Brothers, that were actually these own studios that were doing film. These films were done, number one, on real film, and then they were done and they were put post-production and they were out to a cinema. So now you're making box office money.
correct.
That's where the big money was, box office money. And then they would go to, at the time, it was VHS, and then we moved on to DVD, Blu-ray. That's where the money was. Like, they were making money at the theater, they were making money in distribution, and that's when they were getting all the money. Now, it's like a streamline. They make it, and they go straight to, like, Netflix, or straight to, like, Prime, or straight to, like, and then there's no more, there's revenue, because you have just so many people streaming, but it killed the substance, I feel, of film. It's not in a theater. It's not a, it's not a film like they used to make. Like, it's not films like they used to make.
Well, because they know they'll get part of that Netflix budget. They have enough to purchase this many films and TV shows at the film festivals. My brother went through this recently with a film they did. They showed at the festival, and Netflix, Paramount, Amazon Prime, they're there with the budget, and they're like, we're going to fill up this much, you're going to get this much money. And then if it does well, you'll get more money. But you know for a fact that you're going to get a bunch of money up front. So they're not concerned with, making this super high quality movie that would draw people in. They're like, as long as it's enough to get Netflix to say, yeah, here's your portion of the budget, that's it.
Yep.
They're not as concerned with it.
Yep.
It's gonna piss me off until I figure out what the name of this movie. We gonna look at my phone and I'm gonna tell you what it is after the show.
Yeah, you will, because you got me all excited.
No, I'm telling you, it's like we literally looked at each other like, damn, that is a good movie. Like, I would say the movie before that one, that was actually like a really great movie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah. Like I said, they still have them out there, but dude, I don't know if it was me or just like the '80s, or like 75 is when they really started like pumping out some real good stuff. And then the hippie love era, and the freaking U.S. was kind of lost in where it was. Disco.
When was The Godfather?
Godfather was 75, I think. Mm-hmm. Right, 75. Because I think that whole year was like Godfather, Taxi Driver, like it was all, and it was like a new style of like filmmaking. It was more raw. They were coming off of like the boomer generation, like the 50s, 60s, where stuff was really compartmentalized to like, it wasn't that vulgar. There wasn't a lot of murder. There wasn't a lot of, gore. There wasn't a lot of, and then I think in 75, there was just this switch in the industry where you had like, Francis Ford Coppola, you had Scorsese, you had all these guys. De Niro was like the guy. He was like up and coming, and then you had Pacino and all these guys, Dog Day Afternoon. Probably one of the greatest movies, another great movie,
Tell me, you gonna know this. What's the movie that they made, and the guy, they made a movie about this, okay? I'm pretty sure this is one of the movies. That was another really good movie that I seen not long ago. The guy, they made a movie about him making a movie back in the day or like in the 70s or 80s, and he made the movie so good that it was like next level type of stuff. And then the directors and all turned it down once it was like finally pushed out. And then a couple years later, they like somebody had saw it, was like, no, we need that movie to get produced, and then it ended up being like one of those films that was like a breakthrough.
The guy who directed The Shining.
Was it Kubrick?
Kubrick. Was it Kubrick?
He was insane.
Was it?
That was insane.
I don't remember who is exactly about, but I know that this was the exact storyline.
Now I know there was a movie made about The Godfather and how hard it was to sell to Hollywood because like
that's why it would have been what it was.
So the dude, you just reminded me of Leonardo DiCaprio in that meme where he's
it's
like one of my favorite
from the
I'm not sure, but like so the crazy thing about that is like I don't know exactly how it goes, but the guy who wrote the script of The Godfather, they said it was shit. Like he got all this crap about it.
Yes, this is the exact movie.
And now like there's books on like how to write a screenplay, and it's The Godfather.
They use
that's what it is. Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
they teach. They say like, oh, you want to learn how to make the best
screenplay?
Go read The Godfather.
Read The Godfather. So Hollywood basically was like, this script's horrible, and you know, like I said, it goes all the way back. Like they don't know what they want. Half the time, they don't know what they want. You know, it's like playing craps with them. You know, like they just don't know what they want until they see it. You know, and some of them pass on shit. Like man, I know these crazy stories about where like big movies were passed over, like scripts were like, we ain't touching that. We're not touching. I mean, shit, it happened with some A24 movies. Like no big studio would touch it. A24 is like, you know what?
Yeah,
we're gonna make this happen.
Was that big movie that they had canceled for the longest time, and then they said, no, we're gonna bring it back. It's not 24 Jump Street because they talked about like
talking about War Dogs. Was that the one?
War Dog? No, it was. I forgot what this movie was, but they were talking about bringing it back, and they are bringing it back now. You was telling me about it the other day. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was, but it was. You was saying something about like they had canceled it for a while and they wasn't gonna do it, and then somebody got pumped up about it and said that they whenever Paramount bought out, because Paramount just bought out all of the deal with HBO and everything, and now Paramount got their hands on it. They putting the movie back into action.
Talking about Gambit or something, huh?
No,
that would make.
They putting the movie back into action now that they had that big buyout. Because they didn't want to touch it for years. I'm trying to think of what movie that is, but it was another good, kind of pretty good movie.
And I was telling you about it?
Yeah. I know. That's going to piss me off. I got so many things that I just can't remember the movie names. But I watch so many movies. That's why, too.
Do you have...
See, I don't watch a lot of movies.
Watch so many.
I don't have time.
Do you have a particular movie and, by extension, actor and performance that you like to look at where you're like, I'd like to be an actor like that? Not that, oh, I want to be this guy, but maybe something that sticks out to you that you're like, that's the kind of actor I want to be.
I do. Kubrick's One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Nicholson in there. Not only Nicholson, was it Brad Guilford? There's a couple actors. I can't think of the actors' names in that film, and I swear to you, it's some of the best acting that I've ever seen. I mean, that whole movie is just everyone, even Danny DeVito. Like, and that was Danny DeVito was young. I didn't think he did Taxi at that time, the sitcom Taxi. But I just some amazing acting. Nicholson was always one of my favorite actors, you know, because Nicholson can just be any character by being Nicholson, if that makes sense. Like I've never, you know, it's kind of like, forgive me, Tom Hanks for saying this, but you see Tom Hanks act, and it's Tom Hanks playing Captain Phillips. It's Tom Hanks playing Forrest Gump. It's Tom Hanks playing, you know, but like another great actor, you know, I feel like it's the underrated actor, like in Forrest Gump, for instance, like, you know, Tom Hanks is playing Forrest Gump, but like Gary Sinise is Lieutenant Dan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But like Nicholson was able to have what Tom Hanks has, but like I don't know, it's hard to explain, be that character. Like Nicholson, for me, was one of the most believable actors there is. I mean, was a lot of other greats, but he's the one that stands out the most. You know, Gene Hackman was another one, and you know, James Duval, who we just lost, like he was another amazing actor. There was this generation of actors De Niro and Nicholson that all came from this time and period that I feel like were probably some of the greatest at the craft ever. I mean, besides, of course, the greatest, Charlie Chaplin, who did acting with no words. Which
that was
is
your black and white film still, right?
Which was still, to do what this guy did physically, to make you feel emotion, and comedy to make you laugh, and these different kinds of emotions. But I feel like that whole era, though, like
a lot of that stuff was very dangerous too. Yeah, that he was doing.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, like
yeah.
like they were like really like they. I think one of the things they did, they were scared to do it, but Charlie was like, "No, y'all gonna do it." It was whenever they dropped that whole like it was like I think it was like 4,000 pound setup that they had, and it dropped, and all he was like standing in the window of the barn.
Johnny Knoxville tried it in Jackass too. He almost died. That's the closest he came to dying. At
Really?
the end of the film, they have a big musical number, and they do the same stunt. And now the one they show in the film worked out fine, but one of the takes, the whole thing collapsed
on him.
Yeah, he took a step out the way from his mark, and it collapsed on him. He said that's one of the closest he came to dying. And Chaplin invented that.
Yeah,
and just
that's crazy.
such a dangerous stunt.
That's crazy.
Do you have anyone modern day? Any actors?
modern day. Oh, you put me on the spot now.
For me, it's Tom Hardy.
I
do like.
Tom Hardy.
I was about to say Duncan thinks Shia LaBeouf gave Transformers too good of a.
I do.
Shia LaBeouf's a great actor.
Too good of
I don't know if I want to be like him.
Yeah,
the guy.
Come on.
Tom Hardy is a great actor. Shia, man, he's so much talent in that dude. Like just so much talent in that guy.
He said Transformers didn't deserve him even to have him as a main character.
I think he's a very
if you go back and watch that, I mean, crazy script, but his acting on it, dude, the intensity.
What about Leonardo?
Leonardo's a great actor. I mean, he's just one of those guys that he started really young, and I think he's a great actor. I think that I think he has a lot of range. Yeah. And that's what I kind of look for, like a lot of range in an actor. And I'm not no professional to say what I'm looking for in an actor, but I enjoy watching an actor with a lot of range. It's sad. I have probably about 10 of them, and I can't think of one right now.
It's that on the spot.
Oh yeah, it's
thing.
on the spot.
Yeah,
Is that on the spot
your
thing?
brain goes blank.
I caught what he got.
Yeah. Brandon's kind of telling us that we getting to that point.
All right.
Is there any other things that you want to, bring up that we didn't get to talk about?
No, man. I just thank y'all for having me. Number one. Number two, I'm just some fucking recovering drunken drug addict. From.
Don't give yourself more credit. You know.
Well,
what I mean?
I'm proud of that, and I'll tell you why. Like some people ask, like if you can go back and change any of that, and I wouldn't change one thing because, like, I wouldn't be here right now, sitting having this conversation with y'all, if I would have never did drugs or drank. I mean, let's be honest, I would have never made it to be an actor. I don't think I needed that. I think I had to trust that plan. So I don't regret it, but that's what I am, and I say it like that because somebody who may think that that's what they are may never be able to end up doing what they really want to do in their life. So I'm that person. I'm just some Cajun dude from like down the bayou.
You got to realize everybody's just something.
Everybody's just something, and I will say I've been really blessed with great opportunities that I've decided to work hard for and jump on. So y'all know it as businessmen, it as an actor. Opportunities, when they're good and you jump on them. It's not good for you. It's good for you. But yeah, man, that's about it. Just grateful to be here, and I got some exciting stuff coming, and I think it's going to be a good year. We've seen an uptick in production.
You gonna be in like 2 or 3 movies. You said this coming year. You don't have to call them out.
I think I have like 4 of them. I left last year for 2 weeks and shot 2. And then how post-production can be in some films. So some are still in post-production that we shot in like 2024 that we waited to come out. So I want to say I have about 4 or 5 coming out.
Well, after they come out and you can talk about them, we'll have to have
Yeah,
you back
yeah,
on.
that way
yeah.
we can. I would like to have you back on just to talk about what you went through in those movies and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that we really didn't even get to cover in here that we cover. But
I put it this way: one, I got to spend 2 weeks on this. Like, they put me up in this beautiful lodge where this like deer would come eat breakfast with me every morning.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a pretty cool clip on my Instagram of it. But like this deer would come and like just hang with me in the morning. And this is one of the moments that you like. Yeah, the acting and all things cool, but like, man, how cool it is that I get to come and do this and get to experience this and get paid for it.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's awesome. Let if you want to look into that camera right there as the second one, let the viewers know where they can find you on all socials.
You can find me on Hicks Jeremy, Facebook. And yes, that's my real name. You can find me on Instagram, Hicks Jeremy _actor. And my girl made me a TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. I know nothing about it. I don't know. I can't remember what the name is. I think it's Hicks Jeremy actor.
I'm sure you should search
Hicks Jeremy. Yeah, it'll come up. Because I'm in like other people's TikToks.
I don't think there's too many Hicks Jeremys around.
No. The other three are dead. So, yeah. they going. So it's just me. And when it came time to name my little boy, I named him Lennon. He wasn't. Hick. I hated the name Hick. I ran from him my whole life, bro. Like forever. And he called me Skippy. You know, everybody knew me as Skippy. You know, and this acting coach is like, man, you should really use your real name.
Yeah,
it's pretty unique.
It is.
No one in the industry is apparently no one in the industry is named that's an actor is named Hick. Like the only thing that comes up on IMDb is me and the movie Hick. and then it goes into like Hickory and other shit. But you know, so like I'm the only one. So yeah, that's how that happened. You know, and it's kind of funny because people still come up to me. I know we gotta go. People still come up to me, man, should I call you like Skip or Skippy or Hick? Call me whatever you want, man. Like
just don't call me broke, huh?
Just don't call me broke. You know.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and taking the time.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate y'all.
I got hella problems. Don't need no silver hand, the dirt with choppers.